Okay, so there we go. Welcome and thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this. And if you're watching this on the recording, thank you so much for taking the time to do the recording of this Zoom session with Dr. Ada. It's a chance to, you've got sort of all the pieces of the campaign. It's a chance to kind of review that, but in the context of Ada's sort of firsthand experience and knowledge, and sort of answer questions or anticipate questions about why this, why now, why so big, why us, try and fill in some of that to give you the information you need to feel excited and comfortable in participating in this campaign and supporting it. So thank you for all of that. So yes, this is a conversation with Ada Norris, who is our chief of surgery, our medical director, or oversees all of our medical programs, including spay neuter. Ada, do you want to say a couple of words as we get going?
Yeah, thanks, Priscilla. Thanks everyone for being interested in this project. And obviously, thanks to the Gallahers for kind of starting this. It was an organic process that started with a lunch with a really impressive group of people who are supporters of our organization, supporters of animal welfare. And we really found our way into the Fix It campaign by talking about what our contribution is and how we can kind of best, move forward. So I think it's an awesome organic project that I'm excited to talk about.
All right. So just sort of digging in a little bit to the campaign itself and the impetus behind it. We found that this is really has served as sort of a beautiful kind of uniting vision for this whole thing. We are very proud of the part we play in adoptions of homeless animals in our community. We're probably best known as an adoption center in this region. Um, the larger story, though, is that adoption is really more the end of the process than the beginning. And we're really trying to push more and more resources toward prevention, toward the heart of the homelessness issue in our animal community. Um, and really amplifying our spay neuter program, expanding it exponentially as the Gallaher family is giving us the opportunity to do, is a huge step in that direction. So again, Ada, do you want to speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, I mean, shelter management, no matter how good you are, is always reactive, right? You're reacting to a problem, you're providing a safe haven, you're providing care, and you're finding them homes. But if the fire hose is on at full force, you're just trying to keep up, and you generally never are. Um, and so we need to be at both ends of the problem and kind of control the fire hose, and then we have a better chance at uh, providing better care for everybody who comes out of that. These where we've had a string of families visiting the spay neuter program recently. On the right of the screen are a mother-daughter pair on the top left, a mother-daughter, and then dad on the right. It's obviously next step is to get them even earlier, but it's awesome to see the whole families coming in for spay neuter. The When we get a handle on Sonoma County, for instance, we have Central Valley, supplying animals for us. And so the need to reduce population so we can provide better care and allow animals to be happy and safe in their families is our goal with this project.
Thank you. I want to take just a sec to introduce a couple other people who are on this call. Um, Erica Mansell is our finance director and is here to speak to any detailed financial questions that might have come up. And then we have Chuck Drew, who is a volunteer in our spay neuter clinic, who also has some firsthand anecdotal, experiential information, observations he can share about the incredible opportunity this offers us. And then Robert Kim, who was present at our initial luncheon where this first conversation took place. And we're just so grateful to Robert for taking part this morning and for your incredible support. So just wanted to take a moment to add that. So you all have seen this information in the one sheet I've provided you. It's just here is really more of a springboard for Ada to speak more in depth and Chuck as well to offer, their the rich stories behind this the bullet points here. So I'm gonna pass it again back to you, Ada.
Yeah, I'll give a couple examples just because they really helped me to kind of wrap my head and heart around the project. But a couple that we remember, there was a Belgian Malinois who recently came in for a spay. The owner was crying when she dropped her off. Chuck probably walked him back. The Malinois was adopted from a neighbor who had an accidental litter. Went to the family vet at 4 months old for the spay. The family vet said, wait until you're over 6 months. They went back over 6 months. By then, she was 70 pounds. And they're like, you're over our weight limit. You need to find another clinic. She found another clinic, was on a wait list. By the time she got accepted for a spay with that clinic, she was over 100 pounds. And they're like, you're at our weight limit. You're too big. I'm sorry. Find someone else. She was going into heat again. She was worried about that there's going to be a whoopsie pregnancy on her watch, called our team who, they think they're getting a job as a receptionist, but they're instead these bomber triage techs. They identified that this was an at-risk dog, got her in for a spay that week, and then Chuck walked her back. Um, it's not that our regular vet community is at fault at all. This is a job for a spay and neuter clinic, right? Who can specialize on these kinds of surgeries and train up their staff and be able to do the kind of volume and complexity that's needed to meet our community. Another one that happened a couple of weeks ago was a family who was adopted by a young cat in the neighborhood. They got her vaccinated, all her wellness stuff, took her to the vet to get spayed. The vet said that she was probably pregnant. They didn't go ahead with the spay, took her home, had the kittens, raised the kittens, got them all healthy, vaccinated, dewormed, adopted, found all of them homes on their own, brought mom back to the clinic to get spayed. Now she was postpartum. They're like, you're going to have to wait a little bit. They waited a little bit, were worried that she was going back into heat, still couldn't get her spayed because now she was in heat and postpartum. They called us. We got her in that week. The owner was very clear that he just couldn't handle another, litter of kittens. And we certainly would rather spay mom and keep her healthy rather than, take her and her whole litter of kittens into the shelter. So the complexity of the need on an individual basis is legion. And then you add to that the need from municipal shelters in our area who don't have the staff to have a full spay and neuter clinic. And so they're having to take each individual animal to participating veterinarians to help them get spay and neuter done. And it's just not efficient, right? Doing 2, 3 animals at a time when you have 30, 40, 50 animals that need surgery on any one day.
So as a volunteer, one of several volunteers who not only work with the adoptions team on some cat care and dog walking, both in Santa Rosa and Healdsburg. My favorite opportunity by far has been my 4 years now working with Ada, Melina, the rest of the medical team, and Sophia and Bailey, and the admissions and discharge side of the house. The team that I get to work with are incredible. They're truly professional, extremely hardworking. I mean, think about, some, as Dr. Ada said, 30 or 50 animals a day. That's just, I only get to deal with really the external clients on a intake shift or a discharge shift. They're dealing with, and that might be 30 animals a day or so, or maybe a little bit more. But they're also dealing with patients from the community veterinary clinic side of the house as well as adoptions. So just always busy, always maintaining their cool. I don't know how, but just a great and professional environment to be able to volunteer in, and I enjoy it thoroughly. I like dealing with the animals. Sometimes I like dealing with the clients as well, most of the time. But the staff is amazing, and I think this opportunity that's being presented by the Gallaher family in terms of this matching grant is extraordinary. I don't know if we're going to be seeing more information and bullet points about or discussion points about that, but how the spay and neuter clinic will expand to, and rise to the occasion would be most interesting to see, just based on current space limitations and other things. That would be most interesting. The only other thing that I would mention at this point is we're going to need more volunteers on the side of the house for spay and neuter, and I'd very much like to offer opportunities for anybody to shadow me on a intake shift or a discharge shift, and see if it's something that they might like to join us and on the volunteer side of the house to perform that duty and honor in the future as we expand. So after a long professional career, being able to do this is, for me in my retirement, is just absolutely wonderful, and appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Chuck, and very nice segue into into talking about the opportunity. Before we do, Robert, I just wanted to check in with you. You were at that original luncheon where this conversation really was, where this whole concept was born. Did you want to add anything about sort of what drew you into that conversation, or what you found engaging? Because you jumped right in as soon as we launched this campaign to support us. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I certainly can. I hope you can hear me. At the outset, I would like to thank the Gallaher family. Their gesture was extraordinary, and they deserve a great deal of thanks. And I just saw your email that the program has kicked off rather successfully so far. I want to see it go the full match that the Gallahers have offered. I've always been an advocate for animals. I've been around a long time, and it just breaks my heart to see animals, particularly cats, mistreated. And I suspect that this spay and neuter program will be heavily weighted towards cats. And I just hope that we can find a way to get the community really to participate and get involved, because I just keep wondering if we could cut the number of feral cats or fertile cats in our community significantly, we could really make a difference on this back end that Ada was just talking about, because there's just no way Sonoma County or any other shelter can deal with the influx of animals, particularly cats. And, I think publicity is an important part of this, but I just hope that the community steps up and gets involved. I believe we should help anybody who cannot afford a spay and neuter clinic, but we should also encourage people to donate if they can. But I don't think we should ever deny somebody this care simply because they don't have a lot of money. I mean, I've been blessed in my life. I got more than I'll ever need, and I'm just glad to be able to help. So anyway, that's enough to say.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, the lunch with you, Robert, and the Gallahers and others started with an open conversation about what was working in our clinic and where we thought we saw the need, right? And thanks in part to Erica's leadership recently, all the medical programs have really been pushed to look at our, financial sustainability, like how we're doing. Obviously, we are safety net programs. We're not supposed to be making a lot of money, but we want to live far into the future. We want to be able to plan with all of our partners. We want to be stable, salaries for our staff. We want to be dependable for our community. And so we need to figure out what works and how to keep doing that more efficiently. And what we have found through Erica's kind of attention is that there's a sweet spot in our spay and neuter clinic where we can break even, right? Where we can stay afloat and be a sustainable program. And this is while being still a safety net for people who can't afford surgery. Chuck knows very well, lots of people come in who are really stressed about the cost of spay and neuter. And he's helped us make sure we have a kind of a slush fund to kind of help those guys. But as an organization, we don't turn anyone away. And we've also found a way to encourage people who can afford to pay more to go ahead and support the clinic that way. And we find we do 30 or 40 surgeries a day. We pay for our costs, right? And that obviously got the ears of you guys who are smart financially, and you're like, maybe you should be doing more of this, right? There is endless need for this. The numbers, Robert, to catch up for free roaming animals and to actually get ahead of the program or get ahead of the kind of the battle against more animals and a sustainable group is getting to 70%, right? So we need to spay and neuter 70% of the animals out there. And so by doubling our annual surgeries from 3 to 7,000, we're going to at least be doing, more than our part to get there.
That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. I hope we make it.
We're determined. And I think another aspect of this is really important that's been mentioned as well that I want to just highlight is that, this is an opportunity not only to more than double the number of spay neuter that we do, and therefore reducing the number of homeless animals that are out in the community, and kind of, addressing the root cause of that. But also, we're taking tremendous pressure off of other shelters, not just in our area, in our region especially, but across the state. I mean, we are getting animals in from underserved parts of the state, the Central Valley, LA County, Riverside County, far northern California, where there just is not access to this kind of care, or they're doing their best, they're trying, but they do not have the skill set that we have, the combination of staff and space and the supportive community that we have. We are able to do this, and that's why the Gallahers picked us, because we can do this, and we can do it for our community, but we can also have a huge impact on the pressures that other shelters are experiencing as well. And I think that's also very, very important. And then, we demonstrate we know how to do this. We do it really well. We scale it up with this incredible opportunity, thanks to the Gallaher family and all of you incredible donors. And then we can teach others how to do it. We can, the model can be replicated by others. We can teach actual other veterinary professionals how to do high quality, high volume spay neuter, so they can be taking it back to their communities and making this grow across the state even faster, across, you name it, anywhere. But that's sort of like the long-term value of this as well. So there's a very immediate short-term benefit, there's an intermediate benefit, and there's a very long-term, huge, tangible, measurable benefit as well.
I also expect it will help our local veterinary community because right now they're donating time and energy to help shelters keep up with spay and neuter. And if we can take that away from them, they can do the other stuff, the more complicated surgery and the more complicated medicine that they're in good shape to do. And so we're a really cooperative community in terms of animal care. We all talk to each other really well. And so I'm excited to see this as kind of a net positive for kind of all the different segments of our community.
And we, expect that the pet parents right now, I mean, those of you who are, this will sound familiar, that it's very difficult to get an appointment, or you have to wait for months to get an appointment. It's, that's a symptom of this bigger problem that we're going to address with this.
Yeah. One of the points of real pride for us in our surgery clinic is that we can always fit in an emergency referral for an emergency spay. So someone who has some kind of complication from not being spayed, we don't schedule you out, we get you in right away. And we have no restrictions. We don't have restrictions based on your ability to pay. We don't have restrictions on your dog or cat and the condition that they're in. We're obsessed with safety and good outcomes. And we're also obsessed with kind of access. And we kind of teach ourselves to be the best fill in the blank surgeon, technician, recovery monitor, volunteer, receptionist, so we can handle the most kind of complex caseload. And I'm really proud with what a good job we do, and excited to be able to scale that as we go.
Well, one of the questions that I have has to do with how the society is going to publicize this, because I can see a danger of Ada, your group being overwhelmed. Should it get out? Now that would be a good problem in many ways to have. But I wonder, I can envision a day in Sonoma County where people know that if they encounter feral cats or barn cats or whatever, that they could call the society, and the society has a team of volunteers who could go out and trap these kitties, bring them back, and do the whole TNR routine. But I can also see how that could get out of hand. And so while that would be a good problem in one way, it's something we have to be aware of. And I don't know if you've given much thought to, how to publicize the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, Priscilla can talk more to a certain kind of the publicity in terms of the caseload. I'll add that for the cat population in particular, we have a really strong partner in the community in forgotten felines. And right now, because of the demand for cat spay and neuter, they are doing much more kind of family cats than they ever did before. Their specialty is homeless cats.
Right.
Call them what you will. They range from kind of true feral cats to super friendly community cats, but cats who have, some kind of caretaker, but live outside without a home. That's their specialty. They've started doing family cats just because there's so much need. With working 6 days a week, we'll just take those family cats back. And they then they have an awesome plan to kind of geolocate where their attention needs to be, so they can kind of knock out free roaming cats community by community, and they can really turn their expertise to that. They have trappers and techniques and a really cool database that's tracking where the cat need is. And so we're just going to take the family cats off their back so they can really do their thing, which is take care of the outdoor cats. So happily, we don't have to do all of it as far as cats are concerned.
That is really great to know. I've supported them over the years as well, but I had no idea that you were so closely involved with them. I think I will increase my support for them as well.
Right on.
It's another really great example of, like we're saying, that we are so fortunate that the Gallagher's chose to support us in doing this specific
Yeah.
campaign. But I think it's really worth mentioning multiple times that this is going to benefit our partner shelters, private vet practices throughout the county, throughout Sonoma County and beyond. And that's a perfect example of, how these really strong partnerships that Ada and her team have forged with other rescues. This is where the true value benefit of that can be seen. We've been talking about the impact, the items on this slide. One of the things I wanted to emphasize too, and Ada, if you want to jump in here as well, is that the Gallagher's gift, their match, this challenge, gives us the opportunity to do what we're talking about to achieve sustainability and double the number of animals that we can care for within 12 months. But I think it's really important to emphasize that we would do this anyway. We're equipped and skilled to do it no matter what, that it would have taken us as many as 4 or 5 years, and that may even be a conservative estimate. So I think that that's a really critical consideration, that when you're thinking about, why this, why now, why support this right now, that this is an incredible opportunity to strap a jetpack to this and make it happen in a fourth, a fifth of the time. And that time represents, as we've indicated in some of the things we've sent out, that represents hundreds, if not thousands of animals' lives that we are saving, enriching. There's so much that time represents in terms of positive impact on our animal population.
Yeah, I mean, right. We were working our hardest to figure out how to move from 3 full days of spay and neuter to 4. What this match allows us to do is to jumpstart from 3 to 6. And that, I know in one of our one pagers, we have one of those graphics where you can see how quickly one dog turns into hundreds and hundreds of dogs. And so waiting 5 years means a lot of those cycles have happened, right? And so kind of making that happen within a year it changes everything. I mean, it changes the timeline for individuals. So each individual family and dog's life has changed for the better, but also for our community and getting us on track for a really progressive way to manage our animals and our families.
So, Priscilla, a couple of follow-up questions, really going back to what Robert was asking about before and saying before about community involvement and I think related publicity. Are we expecting to see anything about this program in the Press Democrat or other channels in the near future?
Yes,
And
so
related, and again, the other part of that is I'd also been given to understand, and I can't recall whether it was through our internal Humane Society communication or through another source, but that the Gallagher's were going to be paying for a billboard off of 101. And would you be able to comment on those two questions?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking, Chuck. So yes, we sort of looked at this when the Gallagher's presented us with this challenge match. We took a long look at how can we be most effective with this and communicating it, and also, getting, the greatest results out of this possible, and meeting the challenge goal. And we wanted to take this to our faithful donors, our top donors who have always been there for us, who I always feel like we owe the most information to, if you will. Like, let them know what we're doing, what's going on, what's our big plan, to allow the opportunity to weigh in, ask good questions, offer support when they feel comfortable doing so, and be able to also share it out with their circles and create that sort of influence in their own networks as well. So we broke this campaign overall into two phases. The first phase we're in right now, for the month of August, of bringing this in detail to our donors. Again, offering these kinds of opportunities to ask questions, dig a little deeper, come in for a tour, see things firsthand, really delve in, um, and exercise that kind of sort of ownership and incredible support that our donors have shown us. And then to take it to the public. In September, we launched the public phase of the campaign. And yes, the Gallahers are donating the use of their billboard for, I think it's a couple of weeks, sort of end of August into September. And in addition to that, have laid in funds as part of the match, as part of this, the fundraising. They have laid in funds to allow us to advertise the campaign. We very rarely are able to or want to spend our funds on purchased advertising. We use our own channels, our digital advertising, and so on, and our other communication streams for that. So this is an incredible opportunity for us to get the word out in a very big way through broadcast and print, the billboard, etc., as well as all of our own communication channels, and really amplify this message. It's a bit different message to the public because, again, all of you who are our invested donors who know us well, we can dig into a little more detail and background and motivation, the bigger picture around this. For the general public, it's really a different communication. It's more of, people understand at a gut level the need for us to take care of our animals in our community. The how part of that is a little bit trickier. Again, we're seen as an adoption center and people focus on adoptions for very good reasons, totally understandable. So it's a little bit longer walk to understand for some, I think, how spay neuter really does affect things in the long run. It's pretty obvious, pretty straightforward, but we craft that message so that hits home as readily and as easily as the benefits of adoption. So that's what we've been working on. The Gallaher family, I'm very, very grateful. They have expertise in commercial messaging as well. So they've been a huge help in crafting the message for the billboard, a message you got to capture in at 65 miles an hour unless it's rush hour. That can inspire you to want to know more. It captures your curiosity. If you want to find out, what does that mean? Where can I go for more about this? In society, what are they up to? Let's find out. And then print and radio, where we can get a little bit more into the story, but again, we're trying to capture curiosity, passion for animals, and move it forward that way. So our goal is that will add on to the impact we've had through our donors' incredible support. And by the end of September, it's ambitious, but we're envisioning success. We're manifesting success. That by the end of September we'll be at or very near our goal.
Thank you, Priscilla.
So, again, the Gallahers, I think, is something that's they were sorry that they couldn't be on this call themselves, but I know that something that's very, very important to them is that folks know that they chose to support us for two reasons. One is that they see what we can do, they believe in us, and they knew that we were a good investment for them, which is incredibly, we're very grateful for that. It's a massive vote of confidence, and we really appreciate it, and we will prove it out. The other reason is that rescue is incredibly personally important to them. Their whole family has four-footed rescue members, and the well-being of the animals in our community is very personal and very, very important to them. And so I know it's important that folks in general know that is one of the key drivers behind them creating this campaign, creating the challenge for us and supporting what we do so generously. And that's their dog happy. I thought it was a great ambassador for the family. And then, you know, anyone who's on the call or who has is watching the recording of this has seen our links. And so we're grateful. We're so grateful for your gifts, for your support. We're also incredibly grateful for you sharing this information, sharing the one sheet that we sent out with the information, referring them to me with their questions, or if they'd like to come for a tour. Tours are the number one best way for us to demonstrate who we are and what we do. It's half hour to an hour, depending on how much time we'll have and how much they want to spend. But I think it is just such an incredible way to very quickly understand the need, the opportunity we have here, and the impact that we can make. So again, I just encourage folks to come for a tour, refer friends for a tour. I'm always happy to do that. It's actually my favorite thing to do. So, and then there are links in as many places as we can possibly put them to the donation page itself. Again, if anybody has anything that they want to share on this.
Yeah, thanks, Priscilla. I mean, anytime that you come for a tour with Priscilla, she always brings you by our clinic, and we're always busy, but it's kind of a calm, managed chaos, and we love people coming through to be able to kind of show you what we're actually doing. It's a tremendous privilege to do this work and to work with all of you who are interested in it and care about it. Everything from training up our technicians to be just incredible providers of care for these animals, to working with these families on the hardest day of their life with their pet to be able to find a good outcome, to working with our communities and relieving the stress on our other shelters and the stress in our kind of local clinics. It's a all good project where we just kind of amplify things. It's really exciting, and I look forward to meeting everyone.
It is a truly wonderful and amazing thing to watch the medical team at work on a busy day, and pretty much every day is busy, in the surgical suite. It's just, as Ada said, it's managed chaos. It's just phenomenal. And you get a sense of, just in that one snapshot moment that you're watching, that happens all day long, and you really do get that that firsthand glimpse at the impact that we are making already every day, and the massive potential this has to just, really change so much going forward. Erica, is there anything that you'd like to add from a logistical, financial, sort of from the finance point of view on this, in terms of the program sustainability and how that will affect the rest of our operations and the benefits that come from this that maybe we haven't touched on yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest benefits is what Ada, can you guys hear me? Okay, yes, okay, good. What Ada has mentioned, which is just the impact that it's going to have on the animals in our community. But yeah, I think this is just going to be such a great opportunity for us to have the ability to ramp this up so quickly, because like Ada had mentioned previously, we were trying to find the way to just expand to one more day, and then to have this opportunity to just ramp that up so quickly it's amazing. And I really appreciate the Gallahers, and I appreciate all of you that are on this call today. And speaking of tours, if you come by, you might get a chance to see the little kitten or puppy burritos once they've done a whole little litter of them. They wrap them all up and they're all lined up. It's very cute. So that's another incentive to come by for a tour.
Burritos. It's a very good opportunity. Erica, just
Yeah.
real quick, one final thing. So in terms of impact on the rest of our programs, to me, one of the benefits of this becoming self-sustaining is the benefit that gives to the rest of our programs where we sort of, it's like, then we got that and the funding then that we get through our general fund, through other restricted gifts is focus on those things. And we don't have to worry about subsidizing these essential safety net services if we can get, this critical program on its own feet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the spay neuter clinic in the last few months has shown that it can be self-sustaining. And so to expand that, not only are we going to help other animals, other communities, but it's going to give us that opportunity that we can free up funds to help animals in the shelter or to provide more support to our other safety net services like our CVC, like our CAT program. So it's a great opportunity where we don't have to try and find the funds to try and get this going when you guys are providing that for us, and that frees up more for our other programs. Yes.
I feel like we're so fortunate to be in a position where we've proven we're self-sustaining. We know we have all the pieces to do this right. And now here we have this funding opportunity that allows us to actually do this. And how many operations that we kind of get to say that, to take advantage of an opportunity like this. It feels once in a lifetime. It's incredible. So thank you. And that's our SNP squad. Those are the folks who make it happen here. So unless anyone had any additional questions, we're on the call right now, or any other things to add. I just want to say thank you again so much for your participation, your time, your interest, your support, for sharing this out. Again, please do reach out if you want to ask questions individually offline. Want to arrange a tour, have anything else you want to share or ask, I welcome that. So.
Well, thank you very much, Priscilla. Thank you, Ada and Erica as well. And I'm sure we all hope for and expect great success from this generous matching fund program, and great success in expanding the opportunity for the community to use the tremendously professional spay and neuter facility. So have a good one.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, Robert, for taking the time to join us. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ada, as always. Always wonderful to hear the stories behind all of this and that frontline perspective. And Erica, thank you as well. And Katie, thank you for the tech support. And that'll do it for us.
Thanks, everyone. See you in the clinic.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.